pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Father in heaven, we thank you for this opportunity to gather here. Bless each person present here. We pray that this meeting be successful, productive, and blessed. May we see this meeting time as a way of serving you. In Jesus' name, amen.
Go ahead and call for quorum.
Chairman, you have 6 members present. You have quorum.
Public comment?
We have no public comment at this time.
Okay, let's go ahead and go to reports.
Yes, sir. Item 1A is a report on program manager activity for the 365 Tollway project and the IBTC environmental clearance document. And as well as B, a report on construction activity for the 365 Tollway project. Ramon Navarro will give a brief report on both.
Good evening, Chairman, board members, directors. Going on with the original. Bless you. Going on to 365. Bringing the facts for reference. We have updated the forecasted priority projects and brought the costs up. It has increased as far as development costs for the long range plan to 2.1 billion in comparison to what we had before. And this is just updated costs with the impacts of inflation and materials, et cetera. These are estimates and forecasted costs, conservative forecasted costs, I should say. As far as 365, we continue with the value engineering change proposals. We have captured the majority of the causes. We lack 3 bridges, the geotechnical report and the pavement design. We hope to capture those by the end of this week and start the fun process of reevaluating and evaluating, quantifying, and putting assessments on the participating, non-participating items and working into the costs of the true savings of the project. We forecast that to be done prior to next month's meeting and coming before the board with the value. Hopefully, that's the plan, if all goes well. As far as change orders, we have had 4 change orders on the project, and we are looking at additional concerns with TxDOT and the frontage road. I'll show you all that coming up as far as closure along Spur 115. Other than that, the project is continuing in production and construction smoothly. We continue with our RFIs and project submittals and the soil testings and our construction material testing for the project. As you all are well aware, we have had a special meeting on the 14th of this month, and the board authorized us to proceed with the #1 ranked and recommended firm of CISA. We did have a initial negotiating meeting yesterday, and things look very well. We're detailing some questions, inquiries, and some numbers. We look at getting back together by the end of the week and coming before the board next month with a captured cost and with a entered into our approved contract. As far as the wetland mitigation project, this project has been designed. We are currently reviewing that. There is concerns with the availability of plants and the sustainability of what is readily available. We are looking at alternate species and how quickly these materials can be provided. This is a special list that the Corps has provided us with. We went, of course, ahead and selected various plants and species, and this was about a year ago. We're checking to see what is readily available and before we let the project, so that way we won't have a delay or have any kind of hiccups when we do go to construction with the project. We do anticipate letting that end of this month, which is already next week, so I'd say the 1st of next month. HDR is diligently working on that plan. As per IBTC, the project has been federalized, which means the STIP and the long-range forecasted plan was accepted by FHWA. TxDOT did approve it. We're moving forward with the federal functional classification. Upon receiving functional classification, we can proceed with the environmental clearances. We anticipate acquiring the environmental clearances and authorization to proceed mid-year or early June in forecasting that, and don't anticipate any further delay in proceeding with advanced engineering on the project. The details of the project are in the plan or in the report. As far as the overweight, oversized corridor, this month we issued 3,409 permits. This is a 27.5% increase over this same period last month, which was 2,218 permits, for a total collected amount of $1,318,336. And you'll see the breakdown of distribution of the funding on the chart. This concludes my report for IBTC and the progress of the administration part of it. Going into the construction report, 1B. You get that on the screen. Thank you. As for the construction report on 365, as you all just heard, we continue the value engineering process and capturing costs. We have issued 4 change orders. We still have a favorable amount in our favor. Continue moving on with the middles and discussions. We continue with the environmental justices, the SWP3s, the embankment, the bird mitigation, the bird studies and analysis. And here, this has been an interesting week. Let me give you the formalities of the estimate. We have about 24% complete, with 28% of the time used. We come before the board this month with an estimate of 1,500,000 and my glasses. $1.5 million for authorization in production this month. We did shut down, we did close Sherry Road, South Sherry, just west of the Ansalduas Park Road, and inconvenience no one but the farmers out there. This is to install the 12 by 12 boxes. We are doing this by open cutting 494, and we are working prudently to get that box in. This is where, of course, the foundation was not solid. We did go in and authorize additional foundation or replacement of removal and replacement of the base material at $15 a cubic yard. In addition to that, we have finished the Bodine connection and continue on with working closely with the Hidalgo County Irrigation District 19. They have been very patient with us, and we have found we are accommodating with them due to their patience. We've got a lot of heavy machinery going up and down the existing trunk line. This trunk line was initially installed back in the early 40s, and it has no shutoff valves. Okay, why we didn't put one or didn't propose to put one in is questionable, but regardless, when we shut down,
Then or now?
now putting one in now, but it wasn't in the plan, has not been in the plan, and it's in consideration. But we shut down basically from the Bodine Canal, approximately 1.2 miles to South Benson Road. That trunk line is a 36-inch trunk line and goes down to a 21-inch. So when you fill the 36-inch line, you fill it all together. We can't go independently and analyze each one of our crossings. we have to do it all at the same time. Upon opening the valve, you can see that it was evident of various leaks. These leaks are in the existing trunk line due to the up and down of the equipment or considerations of the travel and traversing of the heavy equipment over the trunk line. One section of it is getting replaced as per plan. We continue working with the Hidalgo County Drainage District, which is doing the detention cells in this area, and they are patching it up and trying to remedy it as we go along. We don't know how long these patches will last and the duration of them, but they will be held in warranty for 3 years until we accept the project, final acceptance of the project. So we'll get back to you with more information on these. As far as our archaeological studies, as far for why I said this was an interesting week last week, was there was a discovery. There was an artifact of a tortoise was discovered at the approximate 1.3 meters or 4 feet below ground. This is consistent with the original studies of the locations for the archaeological finds. It did have markings, etc., that were consistent with the original findings, and that triggered THC and our archaeological crews to come out and stop production for the day. They captured all the data. They have provided us authorization to proceed with construction. As far as our level of depth, the pipe is about at 9 feet. We were halfway down. We have installed the pipe. We just have not backfilled the level of the 4 feet, which is what you see in the picture. But this has rang all the bells and whistles that they are going to be watching us a little closer now, or just due to the fact of the discovery that there are additional items in the area and of very much of interest to them. So we'll be monitored closely, which was part of the requirements of the project to begin with, but now there's more than one of them. As far as the levy and the discussions approaching Spur 115, as per our comment on the administration aspect or report, TxDOT is not, I could say, for this phase of the construction or this phase of the project, we are not going to be allowed to close the southbound frontage road at Spur 115. As per plan, it was indicated in the plan that it was to be closed. Due to the fact that truck traffic has picked up and circumstances have changed, they are not willing to authorize the closure of the frontage road. So we're going to present a cost savings change order to the board next month. We're going to use the toe or the edge of the frontage road as our boundary and slope back the levee from there on. And that should be a bit of a savings as far as fill and workmanship and labor. And we would account for that when we do the ultimate build out 20 or 30 years from now. We would have to come back and fill that in, close the frontage road. The ultimate design does have an intersection or a turnaround at this overpass. So it would have to be filled, and that would allow frontage or heavyweight traffic or overweight traffic to get on or through and go through the frontage roads when it's built out accordingly. As far as the floodway, we continue with the bents and the caps and the production of the bridge materials in this area and the piers. McCall, this is the McCall intersection as it is now. We continue with embankment, putting in drill shafts, columns for the bridge support. It's basically unrecognizable at this time, and hopefully we're on schedule and on track at this intersection and this place location. And this concludes my report. Is there any questions or concerns I can entertain at this time?
What road did you say was closed down?
FM 494 Sherry Road, South Sherry Road.
FM 494. Okay, and you said, if I understood you correctly, that no one other than the farmers are inconvenienced? I mean,
Yes, sir.
they still have access to everything they need to have access to? I mean, these are big businesses down there.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. The
Certainly going concern.
494 is the one.
To be cut off in any way relative to
No,
what
sir.
we're doing.
They have their farm roads or their their dirt roads that they can access through.
Have any of those operations complained to us about lack of access? Or
No, sir.
you guys- There's no.
To
there's
the,
no
to
issue
the
with
contrary,
There's no issue with access.
no, sir. No, sir.
We're sure on that? Because inconveniencing them is an inconvenience.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And it's kind of, it's planting season.
Item and it's not, they need to be taken into account for sure.
Yes, sir. And they are considered. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Any other concerns, questions?
The trunk line you were referencing, Ramon, that's a drainage line or that's an irrigation?
That's an irrigation line.
That's a number
Belongs
9
to
line,
Drainage District 19. Yes, sir.
19.
Yes, sir.
And there's no valves to shut it off.
No, sir.
Is that a design flaw?
We're gonna be installing valves.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say.
isolate, but the,
No, it was installed in the 40s and it wasn't installed with valves back
And
then.
then when we sent the plans to District 19 to review, and which is where they should have said, hey, can we add some valves?
They just signed off on
They
it.
signed off on it, and they missed it off.
Will that be a change order?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah.
We're required to accommodate the irrigation districts as per plan. So whatever they ask for,
You're looking at about $5,000 a valve, and we're gonna install a couple of valves.
So on these issues where we had the water, right, the issues or the cracks, and so they're not gonna replace those, or instead of, I mean, you said they were going to patch, not replace?
well, we're looking at, it's cheaper to amend and mend, and if we do have to accommodate it appropriately, it would be a form liner, inside lining of the pipe, instead of going in there and totally excavating and replacing the pipe. Other than that, we could probably put a slab over the existing line and try to remedy in that method. But we will approach the board with the most efficient method.
This isn't right away then.
Sir?
This isn't right away. This isn't.
This is outside of, this isn't the drainage
Yeah,
district.
right. We're not concreting.
No, sir.
Okay, yeah, they won't let you do that.
Those are old mortar joint pipes, so they're not the modern rubber joint or tongue and groove, which a lot more watertight. Those were back then, they just butted up the pipes, installed the mortar joint, and so they're pretty fragile. When you disturb them, those joints break. Yeah, and they're hard to stop from leaking once they start leaking. And so one of the options we're considering is just slip lining it. That way we don't disturb anything, have to dig up anything, and slip line the sections that are bad.
Okay, let's go to the consent agenda.
Yes, sir, Chairman. Consent agenda, all matters listed under the consent agenda are considered to be routine by the governing body and will be enacted by one motion. There will be no separate discussion of these items. However, if discussion is desired, that item or items will be removed from the consent agenda, will be considered separately. Chairman, the only change is item 2C, approval of the financial reports for December 2022. January 23 report wasn't ready for this board, so that's the only change that we have.
Subject to that change, do we have any, can I get a motion for approval?
So move.
A motion by Frank, can I get a second?
Second.
Second by Forrest, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign.
Belot, any particular reason why the January statement's not ready?
The bookkeepers got a little bit behind schedule. We've had quite a bit of turnover on the bookkeepers, and so they got a new bookkeeper, trained them, they left. Got a new bookkeeper, trained them, they left, and so finally we got a bookkeeper in place, and so that
No
just,
issue.
yeah, no issue with the financials, just entering them. So
Okay, go to the regular agenda, resolution 2023-16, consideration and approval of an agreement with AEP Texas for participation and relocation of electrical line at Glasscock Road for the 365 tollway project.
yes, so this is a relocation of AEP distribution lines at Glasscock Road and 365 Tollway. The cost for the relocation is $130,831.30. However, AEP is only allowed compensation 50%. So this agreement is in the amount of $65,415.65. Staff recommends approval. This is a budgeted item.
So moved.
I have a motion by Forrest, can I get a second?
Second.
Second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Resolution 2023-18, consideration and approval of an agreement with Magic Valley Electric Cooperative for election and location of electrical lines at Jackson Road and 1 Bayou Road for the 365 tollway project.
Again, this is for relocation of distribution lines at Jackson Road and 365 Tollway. The relocation cost is $48,131.20. However, Magic Valley is only allowed 50% compensation. So this agreement is in the amount of $24,065.60. Staff recommends approval. And again, this is a budgeted item for utility relocations.
Are there any questions? If not, can I get into a motion for approval?
So moved.
Got a motion by Juan Carlos, second.
Second.
Second by Forrest. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Resolution 2023-17, approval of a contract amendment number 8 to the professional service agreement with HDR Engineering to increase the maximum payable amount for supplemental work number 3 to work authorization number 3.
Chairman, Directors, last meeting, at the special meeting, you approved supplemental 3 to work authorization number 3 with HDR Engineering, and that was basically for the toll system integrator for the work they did in the amount of $289,198.08. This is increasing the maximum payable amount for the contract with HDR for that work authorization number 3, and that brings the revised contract amount to $3,235,404.31. Staff recommends approval.
Are there any questions? If not, entertain a motion for approval of resolution 2023-17.
Motion to approve.
Have a motion from Mr. Kamel, second. Second by Frank. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Resolution 2023-19, approval of work authorization number 20 to the professional service agreement with SAMS Inc. for the survey services of X parcels claimed by the Allo County Irrigation District number 2 as part of the 365 tollway project.
Chairman, Directors, if you remember, a little over a year ago, we settled with Hidalgo County Irrigation District number 2 for the right-of-way acquisition of parcels from the irrigation district. However, there were 16 parcels that were in dispute. The authority had already acquired them in fee simple. However, Irrigation District 2 was claiming ownership or interest in these parcels. So we were finally able to sit them down, pin them down to what they were claiming ownership to. And so now we need to go out in the field and survey what they're claiming ownership for. And so this work is for those 16 parcels in the amount of $56,245. Staff recommends approval.
Is that part of our budget?
Yes, sir.
Okay, entertain a motion for resolution 2023-19.
So
Motion by Forrest, second by Frank. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Resolution 2023-20, approval of work authorization number 21 to the professional service agreement with SAMS Inc. for surveying services for the corner clip utilities relocation along Thomas and I Road, Veterans Road as part of the 365 tollway project.
Chairman, Directors, now that we've done value engineering on the 365 project, the intersection or the bridge that goes over the intersection of Thomas and Veterans, or also known as I Road, has changed. And so we're going to need a little bit more right of way at that intersection. So we basically need corner clips, and those are triangular shapes, typically in the 4 corners. These will probably be 50 by 50s, 50 by 50 corner clips. And so this is to survey those corners so that we can acquire them from the corresponding owners. It's in the amount of $1,800 to do those corner clips, survey those corner clips. So staff is recommending approval.
Any questions? If not, can I entertain a motion for resolution 2023-20?
So moved.
Have a motion from Juan Carlos in a second.
second.
Have a motion from Mr. Kamel for second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Resolution 2023-21, approval of contract amendment 21 to the professional service agreement with SAMS Inc. to increase the maximum payable for work authorization number 20 and work authorization number 21.
Chairman, Directors, this is to increase the maximum payable amount for the 2 work authorizations you just approved with SAMS 20 and 21 in the aggregate amount of $58,045. Staff recommends approval, and that will increase the maximum payable amount to $351,811.50.
Are there any questions? If not, entertain a motion for approval. Mr. Kamal's gonna make a motion. Can I get a second? Second by Zeke. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries.
Chairman, we have no further business for the board's consideration.
If there's no further business, can I entertain a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
A motion by Forrest, can I get a second?
Second.
Motion second, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries.